Hello, hello, beautiful people. Welcome to 321 No Kiddin. Bobby the Awesome here. I generally don't start heavy. Well, maybe I do. I'm going to start heavy this morning because I have something on my mind that I don't understand and I just need to share it. So, as you know, I am in an evolving state of figuring out faith and spirituality and all that good stuff. And here's an obstacle. Well, I don't know if obstacle is the right word. Here's something I keep coming across, and I don't understand it. So I have this relatively new faith in comparison to a lot of other people out there. And my belief, now I'm not trying to start trouble here or to create angst. I guess I'm just trying to be thought-provoking and I'm trying to understand. So I actually posted on social this morning. Hopefully people will answer me because I don't understand the other side of the conversation. But as someone who is new to faith, and someone who protects her mindset, right? Because I'm no good to anyone if I have a mindset of mush. There's a lot of things going on in the world. And I'm going to use COVID as an example because I can relate to that more than the political stuff because I really am removed from the political stuff. Now, I'll have to pay attention, don't get me wrong, to like business and how politics impacts my life, but I don't get consumed by it. I usually hear word of mouth if something big is going on. So obviously there's rumblings that big stuff is going on. And I also remove myself because I feel from 15 years ago, I have these feelings about our president that are not popular. So I don't talk about it because I don't want to instigate trouble, right? Like I wanted to go to war and I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be as brilliant as I thought that Trump is from his books and from his success as a businessman and from The Apprentice, of course, because I tried out twice, I'll be honest. So people don't want to hear that the last 4 years. It's just, it's just not a good conversation topic. So I don't say it too often. So thank you for letting me share it here in our safe space. So anyway, so my new faith, going back to COVID, I remember when we got back from Asia last year, a couple months later, we had a meetup on Zoom of all of us that were on the trip, and so much had changed. I actually remember it was 6 weeks after because we talked about like how much the world had changed in 6 weeks. We landed back in the States on February 1st, and we had this meeting in March, and it was a whole different world. And I had said in that meeting, and there was a couple people that agreed with me. It was like, I feel like COVID was meant for me. And it had to do with my faith and spirituality. Like I needed to slow down my life. I needed to, like reevaluate. It wasn't, now don't get me wrong. I saw so many people struggling on the front ends from my retail world, from people in the medical profession, from people losing people. I'm aware of all that and I'm not discounting all of that. But because of my faith, I feel like there's a plan bigger than I'll ever understand. Like one of the things that was the most reassuring to me at the start of COVID or early on was when they showed air pollution over different countries and that by slowing down the world a little with this and locking everybody up, the air pollution was fading. The animals and nature were rebuilding. I mean, when we think about endangered species, right? That slows down a little when everybody's locked up. I mean, unless they're rule breakers. But the planet almost needs to reset. We have all this focus on going green and doing the next thing, for example. But here we are. We have the ultimate like reset button for our planet that's going to make a bigger difference or as big of a difference. I don't want to choose language there that's insulting to one way or the other because there's a lot of initiative out there that's really good. I don't want to discount that. However, we have this, I don't want to say natural because it's not natural, the politics and the rules that keep us in place, but there's this chance or opportunity for things to almost be reborn. there's a chance for, this is going to sound horrible. Well, here's the way it is. Somebody explained this to me and I liked it. And this is, I guess, what's provoking this conversation. A couple things happened yesterday, a couple conversations. And this one was, someone said to me, well, what if everyone was like a spiritual energy? And during COVID, they recognized this, and that on some level, we'll make it a spiritual level, they could choose whether they wanted to be in this environment that was very similar to like a World War III for our planet, because the whole planet's involved, or they want to excuse themselves from the fight and leave. And that's how it was described to me. And when you think about the people who have passed away, and this is deep, and this is, I normally don't go this deep, but if you think about if they had a spiritual choice to leave the earth or to stay, and if we think of everyone that we've lost this last over a year now, as them having a choice to excuse themselves from the argument or the fight, it gives us peace, right? So I saw the value in my personal life, and now hearing this theory last night or yesterday, I heard it gave me peace for other people on some level. So now let's throw in my faith. We're having this conversation last night. I was at a group, and there's a lot of people that are struggling with the loneliness, the depression, the lack of family, the anxiety, the disgust, and the systems that are broken when trying to handle the sick people. There's a lot of all this stress. Now, my philosophy is to not get engaged in a lot of that. Like, I don't watch the news. I don't do the things. Yeah, I have social media. And like I said, I hear more from word of mouth or from the reality, from real people, right? The news is real when I'm hearing it straight out of someone's mouth in a different country. So I'm blessed to have that opportunity. And oh, by the way, we all have that opportunity. You go to a GA meeting and you're going to see people from all over the world, or any kind of, support meeting or group. There's a lot of options out there. But at any rate, that's the way I've chose. And that's why I can remain positive and strong. And I feel like that's part of my role, is to be one of the ambassadors for positivity throughout this, and to be an example that even in the darkest days, there's rays of sun just poking through, and that there's, light on the other side of the darkness. So here's my conundrum, and I ran into this on my road trip. Why is it that there are folks, and maybe it's just a couple of the ones I ran into in my life, maybe there isn't this conflict for other people, but this is my struggle. Why is it that folks that have had a longer relationship with God, and a longer intentional relationship with God or their faith or their spirituality, if they're believers, and I'm not questioning their believers, I'm trying to understand the logic, why aren't they giving the universe, God, whoever their rock is, whatever they believe in, why aren't they putting their trust that all of this has divine logic? That's my question. Why is the faith conditional? I don't understand faith to be that way. And maybe I'm naive, but maybe I'm just simple. Because to me, if I'm going to have faith, I'm going to have faith. I have to be all in. Otherwise, it's not really faith. It's mistrust. It's conditional faith. And I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with that with today because, these conversations, people in my life are hurting, and they're sad, and they're feeling like hopeless. And I don't want anybody to feel the pain of that. So for me, finding my faith through this has been a really big gift. So that's why I'm asking this question. If I could find the answer to this and share that would be like incredible to help the people that are feeling that way. I find it hard to believe that there aren't other people feeling this way that aren't in my circle of life. But that's my big heavy duty thought for this morning. All right, 10 minutes into the show. I will also tell you guys that I dropped the ball. We probably won't have an interview release tomorrow with the new show releasing and just the way the week has been, I lost sight of getting an interview done. Well, actually, I'm lying. My interview on Monday had canceled. So I think I'm going to skip an interview tomorrow on Friday. And I guess this will be one of the longer episodes that you could tune into or play catch up with the other 400 and something shows. So I apologize, but I'm not perfect, and I just couldn't pull it off. So you may not get a show tomorrow. I'm very confident of that, actually. So January 14th from Mom's little calendar she gave me says, do what is right, not what is easy. Ooh. That is probably another 10-minute episode at least, right? Everything we do in recovery, for the most part, is generally not the easiest things we've done in our lives. Everything from self-awareness to changing our friends and our habits and our routines and having to spend time in meetings. And I mean, yeah, that's not easy. But I can tell you, and I do tell you, it's worth it. So worth it. All right, today's reading, Mary Dunbar says, we are each gifted in a unique and important way. It is our privilege and adventure to discover our own special light. I love that. So that resonates with me. That's exactly what I was tying it into, is if I can find the answer, maybe I could be a little light for some of those people struggling in the pain. But let's see what else the reading says. Sorry. All of us are gifted. Every person has a gift they can bring great joy and light to those who encounter it. Our task is to stand in the sun and create a climate that will develop and nurture our gift. Sometimes we're afraid to let ourselves believe we have anything special to offer or contribute to the world. We think of ourselves as plain and untalented with no gifts or special potential. But if we believe we are limited, we act in a limited way. We take few risks and follow few paths that might develop our special talents and gifts. In recovery, we're learning to love ourselves and trust ourselves in a whole new way. Now, everything is possible. To fully believe in our talents, we need only step from the darkness into the sun. We will take the first step, trust enough, and start believing that, yes, we do have special gifts. Today, let me be aware of my deep and unfulfilled desires, dreams, and wishes, which is the first step on the way to accepting my gifts. If this is not the story of most entrepreneurs and most people in recovery having this realization, I'm not sure what is. Going back to the conversation I was in actually, my meetings this week have been kind of tied to this as a theme. So Monday night when I played the meditation for the group I led, the questions were, what is your purpose and how do you serve people? And then last night we talked about different people having different jobs or roles in the COVID world. And my role is very different than there was someone in the group that's a caretaker. She helps the sick and the elderly. And she's, I want to say in her 70s. So really, she doesn't even need to be in the workforce, but her gift is helping these people, and she helps people in hospice, and she takes care of people. That's her gift. Now, that being said, she also has to carry, well, she doesn't have to, but she does carry the weight of all this exposure to everyone's stuff, right? So she needs to take care of herself as well. But she has a gift to help people who are dying. I'm hoping that I have a gift to help people who are living and recovering and trying to find their best life and to help business people. I believe that the reason my dream is so vivid is because it's my dream and I was meant to do it. And I feel like that's my gift. My gift is a combination of being willing to learn, having a big mouth, saying things that aren't necessarily politically correct in a regular workforce, going through my recovery journey. I believe all of that has compiled me to be who I'm supposed to be. Back to the faith part again, right? So if I could let you know or validate this reading and saying that you have your gifts and that your journey's brought you through. And the best way to tap into them is through recovery, because you might not even know they're there, or you might not let them shine through. And gifts are great, but don't be so selfish. Don't keep them to yourself. First, recognize you have them and then share them with the world. That's why that meditation the other night was, what is my purpose and who do I help? How do I help them? And think about this. Ooh, this just popped in my head. What if we focused on our gifts and how to help other people instead of getting caught up in all these things? Could you imagine if the people that were part of this experience here in America with all this shit that happened last week, could you imagine if they were working on their gifts and focusing on helping other people? Would any of that have happened? I don't think so. Now, of course, I can't go changing all of them, but if everyone starts living this kind of life where they're devoted to themselves first and take care of themselves, and then be able to share their purpose and their gift and their livelihood and their strength with other people, the whole world could shift. And if it takes a pandemic to discover this, or chaos in politics to discover this, then did it serve a purpose? Now, of course, I don't know that that's the real answer, but what about that perspective? So going back to my faith question, those could be, like right now, it looks like the turmoil and the chaos is like, we can blame the pandemic and we can blame the politics and all those things, or we can express gratitude for the learnings we're going to get out of this and the healing that we're going to get out of this. And hopefully the better world and planet and mankind that will be because of this. That's what I choose to believe today, guys. You don't have to believe what I believe. I would just ask you to consider that those things are possible. Could it be possible that all of this is for the greater good? Could it be? Who is for us to understand? Now, that's 2 levels away for those who don't have any faith or understanding, that are still on an island, that don't believe, and that's okay. But for those of you who do believe, what do you believe in? And can you see the light? Can you have gratitude? That's my question. That's my ask of you. Just can you consider it? I'm not even saying can you feel it. Can you consider it? Could it be possible? That's for each and every one of you to decide. It's not for me to decide. I know what I believe in, and I know how I feel most days, and I know what I'm comfortable with. And you have that responsibility to yourself to sort through that for you. And oh, by the way, there's a whole other cycle here, right? You start thinking about this, maybe it gets you closer to your recovery. As you start working on your recovery, it gets you closer to sorting this out. At the end of the day, you end up with a better life if you end up in that cycle. Instead of the poor me, the sky is falling, the world sucks cycle, which leads you back to addiction. And then addiction is, well, the world sucks. I'm going to go in the cycle. I'm going to hide away in the casino. I'm going to hide away in a bottle. I'm going to hide away, by myself. I'm not going to talk to people. I'm not going to reach out. I'm just going to stew in the shit, because stewing in the shit gets me back to the numbing exercise of gambling or drinking or sex or whatever it is. So why not? Why not stay in that cycle? You'll end up dead quicker in that cycle. I can almost guarantee that. So give that some thought. This is your journey, guys. It totally is. And your journey is going to be at a different pace than my journey, my guest's journey, my family's journey. Everybody's going to be unique and different. And again, that's what makes us special. Your light is in that somewhere, in your journey, in your experience, in your thoughts, in your beliefs. That's what makes you a beautiful person. That's why every single person is a beautiful person. See how that works? All right, guys, I love you. I have my counselor. It's Thursday. I got my counselor, so I can talk through some of this stuff with her, and maybe I'll, have all the answers by the next show I record. I guess we'll see. All right. Have a fantastic Thursday, guys. Hang in there. The other light I can shine is, after all this chaos and turmoil, it's bound to get better. I mean, it just is. So focus on the good today. Focus on the good. Focus on gratitude. Focus on moving forward. All right. Take care, beautiful people.